Hello and welcome to episode 5 of Your Average Critics, a weekly podcast about films, TV and pop culture. So, what have you guys seen this week?
Quickly, sorry, can I talk about film news?
Yes, film news.
Film news time.
Film
news.
Chris, you'll probably be interested in this. There's been... firstly, they have confirmed the director of the Batman film to be Matt Reeves.
Okay.
Is this
He did the Planet of the Apes film.
Justice League Batman film, or is it a separate?
Batman solo film.
Yeah, Batman solo film.
Is that with Ben Affleck then?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
So
Ben
yeah,
Affleck is
he's
Batman.
doing that.
Yeah.
And he did War of Planet of the Apes, and I think there's those two films are sick,
they
so
were good films.
I'm looking forward
They
to
were
seeing
good
what he'll do with Batman. Second thing is, they are making, or they've started talks to do a Nightwing film.
Who's
Oh,
Nightwing?
really?
He's
Nightwing
Batman's
is...
best mate, isn't he?
Yeah, so Nightwing is Dick Grayson, and Dick Grayson was the first Robin.
Yeah.
The first Robin. So when he grew up, he became Nightwing and went to a city called Bloodhaven to go and protect them and stuff like that.
Okay.
So they're planning on making a film about that. So I'm looking forward to seeing that whenever it comes out.
Do you think this is going to be part of the DC extended universe?
Yeah.
Like, is he going
imagine
to
so.
feature in Batman or Justice League?
I imagine they could do a little Batman cameo, but apart from that, I think they could do a film just as a standalone by itself.
What,
I
of
don't-
Nightwing?
Yeah, I don't really think they would need to put in. It's a bit like
Batman wouldn't need to be in it at all.
No, exactly. Kind of like a maybe
He wouldn't
an,
need to be
maybe
in
like
it.
an Ant-Man film.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty much by itself. There was a little Avengers kind of cameo.
Yeah,
but it was pretty
That's
much
the
a film by
thing.
itself.
If they did a Nightwing film, they wouldn't need to put Batman in it, but
No.
they would put Batman in it.
So this would be after the
I think
Justice...
we need to explain his upbringing. His upbringing would involve his origin story would involve Batman.
Well, yeah, because he's Robin,
Yeah.
But
obviously.
who do we want as Robin then? Do we want... I know we talked about it last
Dick
week or
Grayson.
so. Was it...
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Gordon-
This is the thing. I don't know if he'd be good.
He won't do it now.
Do you know what? Do you remember? Do you know the guy?
I'm sorry, but it's Robin. Like, he's not the greatest superhero. Is he even a superhero?
He's a boy wonder, man.
He's a psychic.
Well, yeah.
He's a circus performer.
You know the guy in the Flash who Caitlyn's husband, Ronnie.
Yeah, Ronnie.
I think he'd be a good what's it called?
Robin.
A good Robin, yeah, a good Dick Grayson. I don't know. He seems quite athletic, he's young.
So is he...
No homo.
Is he Robin and then becomes Nightwing, or
Yeah.
are they the same thing?
No, he's Robin, and then he becomes Nightwing, and then someone else takes over as Robin.
Jason Todd.
But then in Suicide Squad, isn't Robin dead?
Yeah, that's Jason Todd. So Nightwing already exists in that universe. We're assuming.
Yeah.
So Jason Todd is the second Robin.
Robin, yeah.
Oh, so the second Robin's dead, but the first one might not be. Okay, that's interesting.
Mm.
Well, he's not dead.
That's true, actually, yeah.
He becomes Red Hood.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Jason Todd comes to Red Hood.
So basically, the Joker captures Jason Todd, tortures him, and kills him.
That was inverted commas.
That was inverted commas, I should have said that. Batman thinks Jason Todd is dead.
1 second. Spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen Batman Under the Red Hood. This is like a very strong plot line.
Or played
of
the
that.
recent Batman games.
It was also voted for by fans to have him die.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, he comes back as the Red Hood and then reveals himself and bang.
But you should watch the film Batman Under the Red Hood. It's very good.
Okay.
It's about that.
Is that the animated one?
Yeah.
Because I saw The Killing Joke and I wasn't that impressed with it.
No.
And I'd heard quite good
Under the Red Hood's
reviews.
better than the Kid.
There's good ones, and
I think.
that's one of the good ones.
Mm.
In other movie news, the new Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro team up called The Irishman is apparently going to Netflix because he wanted more creative control over...
Who's Scorsese?
Yeah, over like budget and creativity and I just kind of made me think like Netflix has become a huge player
Oh yeah.
in the scene.
Yeah.
Is it a threat to like proper cinema? Proper again in inverted commas. Like, is there a threat to mainstream film because of the VOD video on demand services?
I don't think it will be straight away, but eventually it will be because cinema prices are extortionate unless you have a little card where you pay
But
monthly.
okay, on that though, yeah, our generic cinema pass that Obi and I have. If, say, for example, Netflix give Scorsese £100 million budget,
Yeah.
and they're still only charging people $6.99 or whatever it is a month,
Yeah.
they're not going to be able to sustainably keep that up, surely.
I don't think that. I think if they start bringing out like blockbuster films, inverted commas, in to the Netflix universe, then they're just going to raise the prices of Netflix
they will.
subscriptions.
Yeah, but
Well,
then,
they've already raised the prices, though, haven't they?
yeah,
Obviously
but
not,
then
like,
so
£8.
Well,
Yeah.
£8.
oh, is it?
inevitably, the more money they're spending on this stuff, the more money they're going to have to charge their
Exactly.
customers.
Yeah. And it'll get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm not sure if I'm going to be paying £20 a month for Netflix,
Yeah.
but I don't even use it that much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. So we pay £18 a month and we can see unlimited films.
Mm.
But then, is there a kind of argument that, well, Netflix gives you a lot more content? And
True. But there's a lot of shit on Netflix.
There is. There's so
There's
much
a lot of
garbage.
crap on Netflix.
but then that's because do you reckon it's because they give people the freedom to do what they want? And also, is there kind of in entertainment and film and TV too much freedom? Anything is too much
Well,
freedom.
you could also, just off the last point, you could also argue there's a lot of shit films that come out.
Yeah.
You don't have to choose to watch them.
It's
like,
true.
yeah.
No,
Like
it's
Jupiter Ascending was apparently a really bad film. I never watched it all, but yeah, I mean, you didn't have to choose it.
I'm really hoping he makes a cameo in Arrow season 5. I don't know how it will happen, but I'm hoping it happens. Anyway, so carry on. Ollie, what do you think about the whole?
Well, I was going to say, this is going back to our last conversation where I was like, I only had channels 1 to 5 when
Yeah.
I was a kid. So now there's like Netflix,
Do you have Netflix?
Amazon Prime. No.
Amazon Prime? Anything?
No,
like
no,
that?
no.
You're so basic.
What?
You're so basic.
Thanks.
I mean, that's a good way. You're saving money, man.
But is there kind of a way that there could be too much freedom? So, you know, you've got an idea.
Yeah, but from it comes a lot of good things. Like The Man in the High Castle was, you know, been really well acclaimed or well
I still need to watch
received.
that.
So, you know, as many things there are bad, there's
Yeah.
things there are good. I mean, there was you guys all must know, except for about Top Gear. So Amazon were having a massive bidding war with Netflix to see if they could get the trio. And they spent a crazy amount for them.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it
the
paid
Gra-
off. It
the
must have
Grand
paid
Tour?
off somehow.
It was all right. I mean, it didn't compare to Top Gear back when those three were on it and it was in its prime, but it was still a good show.
I can't stand that stuff. I find it so boring, honestly.
So, do you reckon ever DVDs or kind of mainstream film and TV, is that ever going to become obsolete?
I think,
DVDs were like VHS did.
Yeah,
So
I
DVDs
think
exactly.
maybe.
I think DVDs will, although we have got Chris who will keep the DVD business going. He'll keep the DVD business going for
aficionado.
ages. But yeah, no, eventually DVDs will go.
I've always wanted like a big DVD, like in Hot Fuzz, where he opens the wardrobe and it's like, right, what are we gonna watch? Which one first?
Well, I like Chris, I really like DVDs. I don't buy everything, but like even films that I don't necessarily want to watch again, I kind of like having collections. But I'm kind of thinking that DVDs might not necessarily become obsolete because with things like Now TV or Netflix or Amazon Prime, they always, all the content on there is only on there for a limited amount of time. Maybe that might not be the case with Amazon or Netflix original stuff, but
yeah.
certainly films and stuff that they kind of have to license, they eventually get taken
yeah.
off. So if you want to kind of watch X film and was on Netflix and no longer is, then if DVD becomes obsolete, how are you going to source that film like legally?
True.
So
It's true.
Tech's taken over. Well, it's like if you buy a book, or you know, you can have a Kindle and have loads of books on it. But I think people like the physical.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
hold it.
I think
Sure.
I think if anything, DVDs need to become slimmer because I think the case is kind of, even though it's not
Like
that-
Blu-rays, where it's
Well,
a little bit
the
smaller.
disc is so thin, but the case is like quite a significant.
Got to protect the disc. It's fragile.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can put it all on. You know, have you ever played GameCube? They're the really small disc.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. What?
Or
why don't they
cartridges
do
like
that?
N64.
But then the GameCube device was huge, so you know. Well, talking about Netflix, we had a sort of topic suggestion from one of our listeners who contacted us through our Facebook page, which is Your Average Critics. We're also on Twitter at Your YAC Podcast 17, and also on SoundCloud at also Your Average Critics. And he wanted to discuss Stranger Things. So I think you know, a little segue from Netflix is quite an original, a decent starting point. So Stranger Things, what did we think of it? Have we all seen it?
Have we all seen it?
I've seen
Mhm.
it.
So
Yeah,
Chris has seen it. Ollie hasn't Joe
yeah.
Are you
has.
yeah, on
I
Netflix
have.
Anyway, so are you gonna see it? 'Cause
I do. Sell me it.
Okay,
Okay.
well, are we gonna?
I was thinking, are we doing spoiler or non-spoiler? I feel like because we have to sell it. If we want to sell it to you, let's do non-spoiler.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, I spoiled Walking Dead probably for you when I tried to sell it to you
I
last
suppose, yeah.
last week. So
No, you spoiled. What did you spoil for?
well, we said who dies, didn't we? And
Oh, I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, Joe wasn't here last week, so we
I
will
wasn't.
forgive him for that. So, Stranger Things, it's been renewed for series 2. It's a Netflix original. It's basically, Ollie, and for any of you who haven't watched it, it's a drama, sci-fi
Spooky
set
sort
in the 80s, about these sort of three kids,
Four.
and they find a young girl called 11,
Yeah.
who
Decent name.
kind of not sure if she's like a little bit alien or if she's had some sort of experiments on her.
She's
She
a
kind of
wizard.
came out of this facility, and
is this like a horror? 'Cause anything with kids is.
This is it.
I am not gonna
it's-
watch it.
This is the thing. You know I don't like horror, or any sort of anything like that. This was right on the cusp of what I can tolerate.
No way.
Yeah, this
Really?
this is it. There was a bit. I think there was a bit with the monster or something when they were going into the tree. Will's brother and what's his face's sister.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, when they went into the tree to find the monster.
You didn't like that?
I was shitting myself. Literally, it's literally like right on the edge of what I can tolerate as a human being.
so it's these four kids. They're all about 10, 11, and like all this kind of strange things, I guess, happens in their town. There's sort of people. There's like a monster that takes.
This sounds
people.
like Super 8, the film.
Kind of. It's got that
Yeah.
sort of retro vibe,
It's
and
yeah.
The kid goes missing
That was a
as
good
well.
film.
yeah. So that's the inciting incident, isn't it? Like the kid goes missing. They're trying to
What,
find
the little
him.
girl?
No, there's a little boy,
Okay.
and he goes to this place called, I think it's called the Upside Down, which is kind of this
That's what they called it.
otherworldly
Yeah.
realm that there seems to be some sort of portal to, and 11, who's the little girl, kind of has these
She can tap
powers
Yeah, she
that-
can tap into both worlds.
yeah.
Kind of.
So it's kind of a sci-fi drama about that, but it's very retro, 80s sort of sci-fi.
I like
vibes.
the soundtrack to it.
Yeah, so did I. I quite like how they
Introduction.
like kind of did like throwbacks just like to the 80s. I think they did it really well.
Playing Dungeons and Dragons in the basement.
Um,
Nerds.
even the way it was filmed, like I feel like the way it was filmed, it kind of looked like it was being filmed through an old camera, an old style camera.
Yeah.
So I think that was really good. And there was all the actors and actresses were really good. Dakota Fanning, Winona Ryder. Don't know why I said Dakota Fanning. Winona Ryder's in it, and she plays the boy who goes missing. She plays his mum.
Yeah.
And she's basically like, everyone thinks she's going crazy, but she knows she's not going crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like it's really good. You should watch it.
I thought she was too whiny.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's what a mum would be like.
And
I feel like it was realistic.
I hate these things in film and TV where they just say the person's name over and over and over and over and over again, even though they're not there. And she just spends like 5 minutes going, Will. And you're like, shut the fuck up. He's obviously not here. Just like, you know.
He was there though.
He was.
That's
but
like
not-
Tom Hanks on Castaway.
Chris, what do you think of it? Did you like it?
Yeah, I liked it. I didn't like the ending though. Not gonna lie, I thought that was
Why?
pretty shit. Well, I feel like
Without giving it away.
what he sees in the mirror,
Oh, right, okay.
and then I feel like he's not gonna say anything about it, and that really infuriates me about
Okay, I
in
understand,
TV
I
series and
understand.
films where something happened and
And no one
you know
says
you need
anything.
help and you don't say anything, and it's like, what do you think's gonna happen if you don't say anything?
It's just like, sorry, I'm gonna completely go off on a tangent. Fucking Pretty Little Liars.
Oh my god.
Where throughout the whole, I've watched 3 and a bit seasons of that. I don't watch it anymore, but the whole fucking thing, they're being blackmailed by some person, and they're like, "Oh, we can't go to the police," and everyone's kind of like, "Oh, why?" And they're like, so they just don't go to the police, and they're just getting terrorized by this anonymous person. And they're like, I'm just thinking like, why don't you ask for help? And then no one asks for help. They think, oh, we can handle this by ourselves. You're 17-year-old girls.
But
Like, what do you think you're going to be able to do? Just call the police, call the fucking FBI. I don't know.
yeah, but the difference between being blackmailed and having a real life in quotation thingies situation, and seeing and having done what he done to him,
Yeah.
if he goes to someone, they're just going to say he's mad.
But they're not though, because
if
they
he
know
goes
where
to
he's
his family,
been.
if he goes to his family and say, "Oh look, I'm seeing all this stuff."
Yeah, they know he's been in some
Yeah, but
fucking
then
underworld.
What the family going to do?
Well,
Take him to
Well, they
what?
could do what they do in that swimming pool and like maybe send him back to that world and see if 11 can help him or something, or get 11
Yeah,
back.
but 11's not there.
But
Yeah,
this is
that's
the
why
thing.
you go to.
He can't go-
This is why
He's not gonna get. If he goes to an adult or someone else, he can maybe get some help. If he does nothing, he's not going to get any help, and it's just going to stay exactly the same way it is. So he might as well.
So where do we
go
think
try and get
season
help.
2's going to go?
Oh god.
Well,
I honestly don't know. They should have left it. They should have left it one season.
yeah, the trailer makes it look like it's going to be blown well out of proportion and everything's just going to go fucking tits up. Especially with that big spider looking thing that came out of the clouds and was walking about. I think it's going to be kind of shit.
Okay. You said it was on the cusp of what you were willing to watch in terms of
She's not like
sci-fi.
scary films.
In terms of sci-fi and horror. So how do you feel that they balance that?
For the bands do it pretty well.
But that how?
When I was watching it, I was watching it in the dark. So like, I was a bit like, even the first episode where the things like Will's the whatever is like after him. And I was just a bit like, fucking, that's a bit jumpy, innit? I was like, I don't know if I should carry on watching the next episode.
Every
But-
creak you heard in your house, you...
Literally,
What
but
was
like,
that?
I think they did really well too. Because if someone like me, because like, can watch it and feel pretty much
Semi-safe.
semi-safe, fairly comfortable. I feel like they've done a good job of making it sort of spooky, scary, and then making it, like maybe a bit comedic. Or a bit
Did you
more-
follow watching it with something light and funny?
No, it's a bed. No, it was the worst. That was the worst. So I'm dreaming as a demagogue, or whatever it was called. Yeah, but no, it was really good, and I really enjoyed it.
No, the first season was good.
Although,
It was good.
What's his name? I've got two things to say about some of the actors. The kid who plays Dustin is hilarious. Like even the first episode, he's got like no teeth and just cracks me up. And the kid who plays, is it Lucas, the black kid?
Yeah.
He's a dick.
Why?
He's like, oh yeah, Will's dead. Just fucking leave him. Like, you're a fucking dickhead. And then he got an argument with what's his face, the other kid, the white kid, the main kid.
Yeah.
That kid.
I can't
then-
remember what his name is.
I can't remember his name either.
I
And
can't
then,
remember his name.
He looks creepy as hell though, doesn't he?
yeah, he, doesn't
Yeah, he
look-
does.
he looks like he's ill.
Yeah, I thought he was anemic.
But yeah, he gets an argument with him, and then he decides to go off on his own. Fucking decided he was Indiana Jones, put on a bandana. I was like, yeah, let me go ride on my bike to this fucking military base and take them all on. You're like 9 years old. What the fuck do you think you're doing? And you're gonna. At the end of the day, all them kids are fucking stupid.
Mike.
because- Thank you, Mike. All them kids are stupid. Mike, Dustin, fucking Lucas, whatever they're called. Because.
Yeah, but the kids.
So what?
It's an adventure.
Nah, they're dumb.
Did it suffer from its own hype? Because it was very, very hyped up, wasn't it? And I was, everywhere that
Did
you
you like
see
it?
it.
Sorry, I didn't even ask you.
I enjoyed it, but I mean, that's the reason I asked that question. I kind of felt a bit disappointed. I thought it'd be a lot better than it was. It wasn't. I mean, for me, it wasn't horror. I kind of hoped it would be horror, but there were
You're like
elements
watching,
of
like,
it.
exorcism and
Yeah.
stuff. You're just like, you like watching like
You're just-
sacrifices. And
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I was hoping it would be more
Nice.
kind of horror. It was more sci-fi. I thought it was a bit overhyped.
stuff.
Most things are nowadays, though.
Yeah.
Everything's overhyped, and it just turns out shit.
So you shouldn't watch any trailers. You shouldn't go
No.
on any form of social media or look
The
at it.
problem with
or read books.
trailers is that they're far too revealing.
Yeah, they
Why
give
does a
away
trailer
so
need to be
much.
3.5 minutes long? And like I watched A Cure for Wellness on Friday, which isn't that good to be honest, and I kind of had quite high expectations of that. But the trailer for the new Alien film was before that, and I'm not even joking. There were 3 characters that kind of seem quite central that die in the
You
trailer.
see-
Yeah.
You see what happens
yeah.
to them, and I'm just kind of thinking, and I think we've talked about this before.
We have.
Why would you reveal something like that? Alien is a product enough that's going to get people to watch it. It's kind of like if you had the new Batman film and it has the Joker in it, and then the Joker dies at the end or something. You kind of be like, what? Why would you show that?
Yeah.
All you need to do is have a teaser trailer,
Yeah.
have like a little face grabber
Yeah.
come out, and people are going to be hyped.
That's what I was going to say. With an Alien trailer, because everyone knows what it is, you could do like little bits of the story where they're all happy, and then at the end, just a blank screen, and then the face just comes
Yeah,
out.
there's
and
Like a
that's
10-second trailer. That's
The
Yeah.
trailers are far too revealing, and
They are.
there are even trailers. I can't think of any specific examples, but where the actual parts of the ending are in the trailer, and obviously you don't realise that until you
Batman
watch
versus
it.
Superman.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We talked about this with Wonder Woman,
did.
didn't we? You kind of think, is there any
And
surprise?
Doomsday.
Is there any surprise anymore in films?
Nope.
But talking about films that were possibly overhyped, so Obi and Ollie, you saw John Wick 2.
And Joe.
And me.
And Joe.
Don't
okay.
forget me. Jesus.
Sorry, guys.
I'm here.
That was very hyped up. You know,
It was.
people were saying it's
It's got
better than the
90%
original.
Rotten Tomatoes or something.
Yeah. So what? I mean, I haven't seen it. I'm seeing it on Wednesday.
Mm.
But
Oh,
feel free
it just reminded me of Deadshot in Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
I was like, I love Keanu Reeves and this kind of like an assassin
Yeah.
getting chased after by other assassins. I think is a cool idea.
Yeah.
But then he's just like headshot, and we were saying like the kill count's got to be
He killed,
more than 100 people.
He killed so many people.
So many
Literally, even in the first, I'm sure in the first 20 minutes of the film, he killed more people than he did in the whole of John Wick 1. It was ridiculous.
As
He
well-
was just running people
As
over.
well, one thing I noticed a little while after watching the film is he had so much ammo on him.
Yeah, he did. But to be fair, I like that because he didn't have unlimited bullets.
Yeah.
They made sure that
That's
they made
good.
sure you
Yeah.
showed him changing his
No,
ammo.
but well, not all the time.
he was
'cause
he was stealing ammo from people
Yeah.
as well. To be fair,
I suppose.
a bit like what,
In-
like, bit like playing
in-
GTA when you used to.
But in some of the scenes, he would shoot because he does 2 shots for like every person, doesn't he? One in the chest, one in the head.
Yeah.
Those
Wait, there was a section during the shot where he shot the guy in the knees, went bang bang, the guy was really bang in the head. That was so sick. Anyway, carry on. So
yeah. So he does 2 shots for every person, and his guns
Brave, focus.
hold
Mm.
anywhere from 7 to like 14 bullets,
Mm.
and he's shooting like nine people in a row,
Mm.
and you don't see him swap the mag.
Mm.
So I'm thinking it's a little bit.
Why does he need 2 shots if he just shoots him in the
He's
head?
an
they'll be
assassin.
dead?
Got to make sure, you know.
You get
A lot-
one
a lot-
shot down, one shot
Yeah,
kill.
exactly.
Okay.
But one thing about the film was that there was so little dialogue.
There was.
There
and
wasn't
it was
a lot
just
of
like
dialogue.
Did you want
hot
dialogue?
sentences. Yeah,
Some, yeah.
yeah.
It was very just like.
It's just
I'll tell you one
shoot
thing-
them up.
One thing that I really liked about the film, I was saying to Joe afterwards, is that I like that. So they're in this world that's full of assassins, and kind of everybody kind of knows that the assassin game is fairly strong. Like so, like everyone in the world. So like when people are shooting each other, I mean, people will obviously run away in that, but they're not. It doesn't seem like they're that surprised. And I like how sophisticated the whole assassin world is because they show like kind of like
They
what
have
goes
like
on.
a neutral ground, like the
where
hotel is
people
like
put in orders and shit like that,
Yeah.
like kill orders and stuff like that, and that looks really cool. I think I like how organised
Yeah.
it all is, and I like how there's rules.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like,
And there's a semi-decent
despite
twist.
approaching.
At the
Yeah.
end. I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a semi-decent twist at the end that makes you think like, oh shit.
Okay.
Can I ask, is there just as much dialogue in this film as there was in John Wick 1? Because he didn't talk
No,
about
there's less.
Okay, because I was
No,
going to say he didn't really talk
No.
too much in
No,
number 1 either.
There's definitely
so.
less.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and when the dialogue, it didn't really mean a lot.
No.
He was
No.
just
See,
like,
I just
what do you
prefer-
drink, whiskey or
Yeah.
bourbon?
I preferred John Wick 1, but just because
I did as well.
I felt like he come back into the assassination business, but he was doing it because
He had a
because of-
reason.
Yeah, he had a really really strong reason. Even though
Yeah.
it was silly to the
Yeah.
other people. It was just a dog, blah. It's just a car, blah blah.
Yeah.
But to him, it actually meant something. So that's
Yeah.
why he went back into the thing.
Yeah.
But this one, it kind of felt a bit like the reason him going back was a bit wishy washy.
Well, I feel like they sort of pushed it too
They
far.
kind of forced it.
They forced
Yeah,
it, yeah,
yeah.
with the whole marker thing.
They have set up for a third one though,
Yeah.
so
That's true.
Yeah.
Would you go and
Not
see
gonna
it
spoil
based
it.
on?
I probably will. I probably will. I'm not gonna lie, yeah.
Just because of the twist at the end,
Okay.
it'll make you kind of want to
Yeah.
go see it.
I was going to say, because I spoke to someone about it, would you agree with this, that there was too many big action fighting scenes where he was killing too many people? I know you said there was a massive kill count,
Yeah.
but I spoke to someone and they said in John Wick 1 there was one big fight scene where it all happened, but in John Wick 2, and obviously I haven't watched it so I don't know this,
Yeah.
he was saying there was 3 or 4 of them, and he said that was a bit too much for him,
I agree.
and he was
Yeah.
saying that it just kind of took away from the film. Like it's like you said,
I
it
agree.
really is taking a lot away
I
from the
I
actual
got kind of
film.
numb to it.
It
Yeah,
it doesn't because it does because obviously for us it's a little bit too much like wow all right stop killing people, but in the whole universe of the film he's the boogeyman and he's known for doing that,
Yeah.
so it kind of works out.
I've got a question. So obviously, the kind of the point of sequels is you do what you did in the first one,
Yeah.
but bigger and louder,
Which is what
not
we did.
necessarily better.
Yeah.
Is there, if it would have been say one action set piece again like the first one,
Yeah.
would you have been disappointed? Do they need to ramp it up?
They could have ramped it up a little, but they literally ramped it up like 10 times as much.
Yeah,
Like
Okay.
there was so much death, and I was
Yeah.
literally just like,
But what do you guys expect from an action film? Do you
bit more
want?
dialogue.
But do you kind
Just a
of
bit more
for,
dialogue.
for an action hero? Is the point of it the set pieces, like obviously the action? Do you kind of need to empathise with these characters? Like, how much do you empathise with James Bond or Jack Reacher? Most of that is about
Jack Bauer.
the fighting and the
Yeah,
action
but, like,
and the
so
spectacle. of
Jason
it.
Bourne, those films, they don't have any like shoot 'em ups, like especially not like John Wick.
Yeah,
But
not
that,
like
that is on your toes because he's like running away
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
people. He's like
They're-
getting chased.
Yeah,
So I like that kind of
Yeah,
that
it-
storytelling.
it's action, but it's not major action.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Okay.
I want to make I think 3 quick comments about the film. Maybe 4 actually. So the bit there's a bit where John Wick kills some guy with a pencil and it's fucking disgusting.
It's sick though.
It's
How he
horrible.
does it is so
Is
sick.
it like the Joker in Batman, the Dark Knight?
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually, quite similar to that. Yeah.
Similar.
So there's that. There's a really funny bit where him and Common's in the film. He's actually really good in it. Him and Common are like they're in like a subway, but they're trying to shoot each other, but they're probably doing it on the slide. It's literally
It's so
I
jokes.
laughed so hard at that. I thought it was hilarious.
It's so joke.
I'm really impressed with Keanu Reeves because he did a lot of his own stunts. It seemed
Yeah.
like in that film.
He does his own stunts
Yeah,
anyway.
and it looks really like
And he's like 50 something.
Yeah, so
Jeez, if I look like that,
kudos
I'm
to him
50.
because it was looks pretty realistic.
Save the world, Keanu
Um,
Reeves.
4, Ruby Rose's character. Firstly, Ruby Rose is fit. I'm just gonna say that.
Which one's Ruby Rose?
The woman,
Oh,
the
the-
fucking mute. Why was she a mute? That was one.
She was deaf.
Why couldn't she? Was she deaf? Because there was a point where when they just double crossed John Wick. Sorry, spoiler. And he shouts at her, and she could
she's
fucking
deaf.
hear it. But she could fucking hear it, and she felt it's not like she can lip read because she was fucking ages away from him.
But then people who are deaf doesn't necessarily
They
mean they
don't
can't
really
hear anything.
they-
It just means that there's maybe something.
But why did the
Maybe-
character need to be deaf?
But maybe she.
Yeah, that
This
was
is the thing. Why was the
like,
character deaf?
yeah, a deaf assassin.
But I was thinking he was based
It
on
might-
a comic,
it-
fair enough, but it's not.
It might. She might not have been deaf.
And,
she
if,
could've-
and if she wasn't deaf, then why the fuck was she a mute? Why was she? Why did they need to make character?
She's an
mute?
assassin. She might have had her tongue cut
But why
out.
did they need to make? Well,
Oh,
they should have.
good
They
point.
could have made that clear then. I don't understand why she. Cause she and like,
Because to be fair, she never opened her mouth.
but why? This is the thing. I just don't understand why.
It makes her more sinister.
No, it didn't though. Really, it didn't.
It didn't,
And
to be fair. It didn't.
well, I would prefer it. You know, in the film they had the woman assassin who tried to kill John Wick and then ended up getting killed herself right at the end. Like she was an assassin, she was a woman, she was talking bare, and I liked it. So they should have done it, made her more like that woman.
Was there any reoccurring casts in this from the previous one? Because I know at the end of
Yeah.
John Wick
Well,
1.
the guy in the hotel, the guy
What's
in
his
the hotel,
name?
the guy
Will-
in the hotel.
Wilson.
Oh, well, and him.
Is that
Image,
it?
uh,
Two.
But what about was the female at the end of John Wick 1 in this one? Because she got
She
away. Did she?
Yeah.
I thought she didn't die.
No, she died. They killed her because she violated the membership rules. They killed her.
Oh
Who
yeah.
killed her?
The Wilson and his men. Remember they got her to
Yeah.
that place and then she was like, they were like, you've been excommunicado or something like that. And
Yeah.
literally 4 people just went bang, shot in the head, and they
Yeah.
walked in back in separate
Yeah.
directions.
Yeah.
Yeah, she died.
So would you recommend John Wick 2?
Yeah, don't see
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it's good.
If
film.
you've watched John Wick 2, go and watch John Wick 2.
If I gave John Wick a 7.5, John Wick 2 is a 7.
Okay, so it's not too.
It's not rubbish. No, it's a good film, but the first one's better.
Ah, well, I went to see Hidden Figures,
Mm.
which Obi, I know you've seen, and I don't think any of you guys
No.
have.
You see? Oh, no.
And I know we talked about it in episode 3, but I just wanted to say that I thought it was fantastic.
Really good film.
A really good film. The performances were very, very good. I kind of wanted to...
Janelle Monáe. Oh,
She's black and white. Janelle Monáe.
love her. Anyway, sorry.
I kind of wanted to talk to you a bit. I was about the tone of the film though, because it was quite whimsical
Mm.
in a sense.
Was there a lot of people laughing in your theatre?
Yeah, I mean, obviously
Yeah.
there was elements of comedy, but
Yeah.
was the tone right? Should it have been treated a bit more seriously, considering how it was about segregation and civil
Yeah.
rights, or does it work that there's a bit of?
I think it worked. Because everyone kind of gets that obviously the issues they were talking about were serious.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have a bit of, like, not every day doom and gloom.
It's not like Fences, which
Yeah,
is
do you know what I mean?
like
So-
just depressing and
That Fence is the one with Denzel Washington,
Yeah.
isn't it? And about his son.
Mm.
I was going to say, what is the premise behind Hidden Figures?
So
'Cause
Hidden-
I haven't seen anything about
Hidden
it.
Figures is the story of 3 African American women who work for NASA.
Okay.
They basically, this is in 1960s, so it's before like computers and stuff. It's actually on the cusp of when like data processing machines happen, and they all do the math calculations in their head about how rockets and trajectories and
Right.
things like that.
Okay.
But because it's 1960s, they're in a segregated building, so their sort of campus is about half a mile away from the white campus, and
The
then
main campus.
and then a couple of the 2 of the 3 characters sort of get moved into the kind of white campus.
Right.
Then obviously they're still segregated, so when they need the toilet, they have to run half a mile.
Yeah.
You know, and they have to use different coffee pots,
Yeah.
and it's kind of not overt. Well, it's
You
just
know it's
treated
there.
really casually,
Yeah,
isn't
yeah,
it? It's
yeah.
kind of like,
Yeah.
you know, we've never had one of you in here before.
Yeah.
There's no sort of aggressive racism. It's just so passive and
Yeah, I kind of prefer the non-passive racism, the passive racism. To be fair,
you prefer.
but I preferred like in this sort of film, like if it's in a film where I don't know, maybe where you're talking about I don't know like slavery or the civil rights activists and stuff like that, then I can understand why you would make it sort of more aggressive racism. But in a film like this, where obviously racism is part of it, but it's not the main meat of the film. The main meat of the film is the 3 women who accomplish something great and getting the man on the moon and stuff like that. So then the racism kind of takes a back seat, which I prefer.
Yeah.
I prefer that it did not like overshadow the rest
Yeah.
of the film.
It's
I-
based off of a true story.
It's
Yeah,
true story,
true
yeah.
events. And it's not just about the advancement of the African American like civil rights, but it's also to
Women.
an extent, like gender equality. Because you've got Kirsten Dunst's character is quite a senior position, but the rest of them are just white guys. So it's quite a powerful film in that respect. And as a white male myself, I'm not. I definitely have never experienced any struggles like that. But they kind of. I like the tone that they dealt with it because there are serious parts of it. Taraji P Henderson's outburst at her outburst at Kevin Costner was really powerful. Which kind of made me think, why was Octavia Spencer nominated for the Oscar rather than her?
This is what I was thinking. I think it's because I don't know. I think Octavia Spencer's character was more what's the word? Domineering. Is that a word?
Okay.
Domineering from the start of the film, whereas Taraji P Henson genuinely had that moment, and then obviously little moments where she was like, "I need to be here. I need to be here. I need to be in this meeting." Blah blah blah. But throughout the whole film, I felt like Octavia Spencer's character was like, she just didn't take any shit at all.
But I felt
Throughout
like
the whole thing.
I've got a point. You know what we were saying in the previous episode. Like you might not know about this, but in the previous episode we were saying about Oscars and how maybe it's not necessarily based on one performance. So have either of those two done another film previously in the
That's a
year
good point.
that they maybe this is warranting their Oscar nomination rather than based on how they
Maybe.
performed in this film?
See, from my opinion, I want actors and actresses to win awards for like showing a range of acting skills within a film.
Yeah.
And Octavia Spencer's character is kind of
One note.
on the same level,
Yeah,
whereas
yeah. That's
Taraji P Henson,
Henson,
she's emotional when she gets engaged to Mahershala Ali, and
Mr.
last
Ali.
week I couldn't pronounce his name, and I've
Right.
learned how to
I'm
pronounce
just gonna
it.
call him Mr. Ali.
Mahershala, that's his
Mahershala.
name.
Okay.
So yeah, she's like shows emotion, she shows like passion and aggression, but she also shows like a comic and kind of soft side. So I was thinking, and she is by far the main character.
Oh yeah.
And I was thinking, why have they nominated Octavia Spencer? I mean, not taking anything away from her performance, but for me, like the range of that was much better.
What did she get nominated for? Best Supporting Actress.
Yeah,
Mm.
and the same like we talked about Mahershala
Because you-
Ali's nomination last.
Who got
week.
who got nominated for? Because you couldn't nominate Taraji P Henson for Best Supporting Actress because she was the main actress. So who was nominees for? Maybe she wasn't good enough to get in the nominees for main actress
Maybe
because they couldn't nominate her for supporting actress, but then they did for
Dev Patel.
so I don't know. It's all
So
fucked up.
can you not nominate a person from the same film to be the best actor / actress? Say like two of them.
You can nominate two separate people, I think, for
Yeah.
two separate awards.
Yeah.
You can't nominate.
No,
someone
no. It's the same award. I'm saying what can
So-
two people? So say like you've got Henry Cavill.
Cavill.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce it?
For Cavill, yeah, you got
Henry Cavill
Yeah.
and Ben Affleck. Say they got both nominated for best actor. I'm not saying they would, but in Batman vs Superman,
Right.
could they both be nominated in that category, or is that not allowed because it's one per film?
I don't know. I feel like
I feel like in every film there's a main character and there's an obvious
True.
there's an obvious main character. Then
Yeah, but some
What?
films aren't always necessarily a female and male main actor and actress, so sometimes it could be the same
Such
sex.
yeah.
Well, the only film I can think of at the top of my mind, which is based on two people, I think. I've never watched it myself. Brokeback Mountain was two of them, wasn't it?
Yeah.
okay.
But I don't know how much it was fixated on either of them. I don't know. But then you could argue Batman vs Superman, but then
I'd say
a lot of people
Henry
would
Cavill
say,
is the supporting actor.
Huh?
I'd say Henry
yeah.
Cavill
Then
is
I
the
was going to
supporting
say a lot of
or
people.
Civil War. I know it's a Captain America film, but
Yeah, but I think he's the main character in that, and everyone
But I feel
everyone
like-
else is supporting anyway.
I don't know for sure. But I feel like there should definitely be a case for having two people nominated.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know whether there is a quota. It's kind of like you can have one best actor and one like supporting actor or something.
Yeah.
But there are definitely there must be cases where there's like a lot of central characters to a film and that they're all equally as good performances. But then maybe that's what makes a film best picture rather than the individual awards.
You should email the Oscars and find out.
Maybe we should have our own awards.
Yeah, fuck it.
The YAC awards, and we'd give Taraji P Henson the award for best actress, and we'll give Dev Patel best
Yeah.
supporting actor, and we'll give Moonlight best film.
You guys wanted Denzel Washington, didn't you? for
Yeah,
Fences?
biggest dickhead. I wanted to ask you, what do you think of Jim Parsons' performance in Hidden Figures?
I actually was surprised by it because
In a good way or in a bad way?
in a good way because I've only ever really been exposed to him as Sheldon.
Yeah.
And in the trailer for the film, that he's very much the only part where he kind of is Sheldon is when he says and it comes into land, and
Yeah.
that's the only part they used in the trailer.
Yeah.
But he actually comes across quite serious and I know we've talked about like traditionally comic actors playing serious roles, but I quite liked his
Yeah, so did I.
performance. I did kind of hate him a bit.
Oh yeah, so did I, yeah. He's a dick.
Such a knob.
But I think he was kind of just playing Sheldon. Does that make sense? Like, but not in a comedic setting where he can, where his lack of understanding for other people's feelings can bounce off other characters in a comedic way. He was just kind of playing a similar, bit of an obnoxious, like know-it-all character.
Yeah.
But he was just a bit more of a dick. So, oh well, I don't know.
So you guys have been watching Riverdale.
Yes.
How many of you been watching that?
I've watched 4 episodes. Of it.
I've
I
only
think-
watched 4
I
episodes.
think that's 5. I
I've
know.
Yeah.
watched,
five.
I've watched all 5.
Chris has watched 5.
What did you think of it? When we mentioned that we were going to talk about it last week, and I don't
Yeah,
think we got
we
around
did
to
it.
it.
So, okay, well, there's going to be spoilers in this for anyone who
Tell us what
watch
it's
it.
about.
So basically, it's based on. Have you ever heard of Archie Comics?
Nope.
So it's based on that. So it's this kid called Archie, and he basically. A summer has just gone by, and a kid called Jason. Jason has been murdered by someone. No, sorry, but and he's dead, and people said that he drowned. He was with his twin sister on the 4th of July, and they went out to a river, and she said that they were in a boat, and like when I was first watching, I was thinking, why were they even in a boat in the first place? But they're saying now that I think the boat capsizes. She said Jason drowned, and that's how he died. Turns out that he was actually shot in the head. Yeah. So then you got Archie, who's obviously the main character of Archie Comics. His friend Jughead. You've got Betty Cooper, Veronica Lodge. Veronica Lodge has just moved to Riverdale from New York, yeah. So she's like a bit of a spoiled brat coming into like a, like a typical suburban.
But she's trying to change.
Yeah, she's trying to change.
Not saying that everyone from New York is a spoiled brat.
Yeah, no, so stereotypical spoiled brat, not typical. But yeah, so she tries to make friends with Betty, and Betty's in love with Archie. Archie doesn't love. They're best friends, but Archie doesn't love Betty, which I think is very refreshing to see the female character lust after the male character, but the male character doesn't fancy her back. I think that's very refreshing because normally it's the other way around. So anyway, so Archie is going out with his music teacher.
Ooh.
Wow.
No, secretly.
Secretly, yeah, sorry. Yeah, secretly. Because he's like 16 and she's probably, I'm assuming in her mid-20s, which is kind of fit, but anyway. So yeah, they're like going out, keeping it a secret and whatnot. And secrets ensue, basically. There's a fuckload of secrets, basically.
There's twists and turns.
There's twists and turns at every fucking corner. Everyone's involved in something. It seems like everyone's involved in something shady. Everyone's doing something stupid. And so when they find Jason's body because he was missing before. Someone finds it, and they see the bullet hole in his head. They examine the body and they find out that he wasn't shot on the 4th of July. He was actually held for tortured for like a week before he was shot in the head.
Yeah.
So now they're doing a police investigation to find out who killed him. So that's like an ongoing thing throughout the weeks. Like they're trying to find out who killed him.
Have you followed that?
Yeah, I think so. Kind of sounds a bit like Broadchurch meets Gossip Girl or
it's
something.
It's very Gossip Girly.
Oh,
it's
it is.
very Gossip
Actually, I
Girly.
can't say anything because I know I'm going to spoil stuff. Because the 5th episode, I think,
Well, just say stuff that doesn't spoil it.
it continues a lot of the stuff that Obi's just talked about, basically.
Okay.
So yeah, it's basically, and then they're the main arc of the the main arc of the program is them trying to find out who Jason's killer is, and they have like little like high school dramas and stuff like that. And there was an episode where fucking Betty and Veronica, there's this dude who goes out with Veronica for goes on one date, and then he gets a picture and puts it on social media and puts an emoji
He basically says that he's had sex with Veronica.
Yeah. And
Which isn't true.
he slut shamed her.
Yeah.
But they didn't have sex.
Yeah, and then they done a little bit of investigating, Betty and Veronica, and they found out that basically all of the jocks, all the football team, American football team, have a
playbook.
Playbook where they record every girl that they've slept with.
Yeah.
In
and I think they rate them or something.
Yeah,
Oh,
they rate them out of 10 or whatever. Betty and Veronica find that out, basically lead the guy that slut shamed Veronica into a jacuzzi.
Yeah.
And Betty comes
Shenanigans
out.
and shit.
Betty comes out with a black. She's blonde. Comes out with a black wig.
I think go on, sorry.
This bra thing and what was it?
It's like some little skirt.
It's a little skirt
Yeah.
thing and is
acting
bare
bare
seductive.
seductive. Yeah. Bearing in mind she's supposed to be 16.
Yeah.
So
something
when we
like
were watching this, I was thinking this is a bit.
that. Yeah, it's a bit.
I don't really know how to feel about it.
Yeah.
I was watching it and I think I'm not sure. So she's got a sister called Polly, and I was talking about the guy called Jason who died. It's very hard to keep up with. Sorry, the guy who called Jason died. He went out with Betty's sister Polly, and apparently drove her crazy, literally crazy. So her sister, Betty's sister Polly, is in a mental hospital, and I think Joe said she had the wig on. She had a wig on.
Betty had a wig on to seduce the guy.
I think she was trying to dress up as. Joe can't do it. She was trying to dress up. I think she was trying to dress up as her sister Polly, and basically she got this guy into the jacuzzi. I think they get him drunk or something.
Yeah, they got
him
drugged him.
No, they drugged him.
Oh, they drugged him, and they were just turning up the heat in the jacuzzi till he was the guy
Basically boiling.
The guy was
him
roasting.
And pouring syrup.
And pouring syrup. What? There's a reason for that, but I can't remember what it is. They poured syrup on him, and she's Betty's to him, "Oh, admit what you done. Admit what you done. Obviously, admit you lied about sleeping with all these girls." And he was like, "Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. So admit what you done." And she keeps calling him Jason. This guy's not Jason. Jason's dead, obviously. So, and I think, and Veronica was just side-eyeing her, she's gonna be right. They tried to kill this guy, and he was like, "I'm sorry." It was really weird.
This sounds
I'm
mental.
going to have to disagree with you on that. I think she might have been clothes-wise, maybe dressing up as Was it Polly? You said
She might be what?
dressing up as Polly, but her hair is not the same. Because in episode 5, there is a comment made to Betty that she looks like her sister. Like the person mistakes her for her
Yeah.
sister.
Oh,
So I don't think.
she might have been dressing up as Veronica, because
But Veronica was there.
I know.
But,
But-
he found an attraction to Veronica, so maybe she
Yeah,
dressed up. like
Archie
Veronica.
found an attraction to Veronica.
Oh no, I thought you meant the guy in the hot tub.
Oh, maybe, but
Yeah.
Betty's gone sort of crazy, innit?
She's a bit. She's
Be-
got a bit of a
because
screw.
Archie.
I'm
has
going
something-
crazy listening to this.
It's kind of
It's convoluted, man.
It's quite convoluted.
There's twists and turns everywhere, but
We're trying to go through 4 episodes. So it's
Yeah.
quite-
You guys should do a Riverdale podcast. I swear down. Like,
remember when Archie went into the closet with
Yeah,
Veronica
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
Betty got well jelly?
Yeah,
did he come out the closet?
No. Yeah. Well, yeah, he did, but
Shenanigans ensued.
yeah, they got it on.
They got busy.
They done the deed.
Jeez, I'm worn out.
So I'm thinking because Betty's gone a little bit mental about
Mm.
that, she's sort of wanting to emulate Veronica and
Okay.
try and get Archie to.
Maybe.
And I think she's going to go through a gradual cycle where she's going to turn into Veronica.
Okay, maybe. That's a good.
I disagree with you.
Riverdale, this sounds like an R-rated Emmerdale.
And there's a point, right? This is where I'm thinking. So this is where it gets, I think, Gossip Girly, because in Gossip Girl, obviously they were all like teenagers and whatnot, but they all did things that were like really fucking dangerous. And that
Didn't
could-
someone die in the first
that could get
episode?
them- in the first episode of Gossip Girl, I have
Well,
no
in the
idea.
First season, someone must have died.
First season, someone definitely
Yeah.
died, but I can't remember when.
And they're
because-
trying to like cover it
Yeah.
up and.
I haven't watched Gossip Girl for ages. But so yeah, Betty and Veronica break. So you know this teacher that was going out with Archie. You know,
The music teacher.
Yeah, the music teacher. So
If anyone's still listening at this point, you are a hero.
If you can follow what's
we're nearly
going on.
done. I'm
And
nearly
if you
done.
have any comments about Riverdale, please tweet us or go on Facebook and get involved.
Yeah.
Do you agree with Chris? Is she looking like Veronica? Is she looking like Betty or Sandra or
Such.
whoever the fuck?
I'm nearly done. I just want to comment on how fucking dumb these kids are. So
oh god.
Betty and Veronica find out about Archie and the music teacher. So they're trying to convince Archie to break up with her because obviously student-teacher relationships kind of fucking illegal. So then they break into the music teacher's car and they find a box with a gun in it.
Oh my god, I'm so stressed out.
And Betty takes the gun and puts it in her fucking. Thank you, Chris. And puts it in her fucking drawer. Probably knowing that her mum does her fucking laundry and is going to go through her drawers to
Yeah.
put the clothes in her fucking drawers. And then, not only did she fucking take the gun, she wrote about it in her diary, which she kept in the drawer next to the gun. And her mum reads it and finds out about everything and tells Archie's dad, and then they drive the music teacher out of town basically. They force her to quit and she leaves. And obviously,
So she's seeing the music teacher. Did you say she's having a relationship?
Archie's having a relationship with the music teacher.
Okay.
The music teacher's a woman. Archie's a boy.
We haven't done
Yeah.
a very good job of explaining.
We haven't. We should have gone through the episodes one by one.
I'm so glad that you don't write the synopses of these of this series.
No, but to be fair, if we'd done it one episode at a time, it would have been a bit more clear. But we've kind of skipped through episodes.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, Betty's a fucking idiot because obviously she doesn't want Archie to go out with this teacher because one, she's a teacher and she's like it's illegal, and two, she fancies Archie, which is fine. But for her to be like, oh yeah, don't worry, I'm not going to tell anyone, and then fucking write about it in her diary and have the fucking gun in her wardrobe and her dress in her drawer is really fucking stupid for someone for a girl who's apparently supposed to be really, really smart. Anyway, she's.
I love how it was all blown over when she did the miming of "I'm sorry" to him, and
Yeah.
it was just like, okay, we're all cool, we're all fine.
Oh yeah, I would have been if I was her, I would have been like, fuck off. No, if I was him even, just fucking ruined my sex life. Anyway,
So, do you kind of feel with those sorts of shows, they're very melodramatic? Do you want it to be more realistic, or do you like the
I
melodrama?
like it. I like it.
it's
I
fun.
like it. It's fun to. It's
Well,
like.
you're definitely passionate about
Yeah.
it, and I hope that, I hope that translates to
I need at any point in life I need a teen drama in my life.
Alright.
I had Waterloo Road. I moved on to Gossip Girl. I had Pretty Little Liars for a little bit. Now I got Riverdale. So.
Keep us up to date on
I
that.
think you're quite like episode 5 then.
Okay.
Riverdale.
Cool. I'll watch it later.
Okay, I think it's time for another listener topic. This was sent to us on Twitter again by Connor. So thank you for sending your comment in, Connor. He wants to talk about Lego Batman. So I think a few of us here have seen it.
I haven't seen it.
Okay, Joe hasn't. Ollie hasn't.
I've seen it.
Obi has and Chris has. Alright, so we're going to talk about Lego Batman. Three of us have seen it. It's the sequel to the Lego movie, or it's a spin-off of the Lego movie. It's basically a Lego version of the Batman story. It's about Batman, who's voiced by Will Arnett of Arrested Development fame and other sitcoms. He's kind of a very insular and arrogant kind of version of Batman, and it's got about him developing a family, really, and his relationship with his supervillains, kind of headed by the Joker, but it kind of features everybody. Everyone from
so many.
They are loving off Lego movies. There's another one coming out with like Jackie Chan as it's a ninja film.
Oh, the
so
ninja,
Jackie
yeah.
Chan's
the
in,
Ninjago one, yeah.
And there's also a planned, I think it's 2017 or 2018 Lego Movie 2.
Okay. So what do we feel about the Lego kind of franchise?
I was tripping balls when I watched that first one. I was like, what is going on?
I think we've all played the Lego video games, right?
I haven't.
Yeah.
And
Some of them,
they're incredible. I love those games. Well, how does it work as a film, and specifically Lego Batman?
I thought it was okay.
Oh well, I thought the Lego Movie was really good.
Yeah,
I
seen that
thought
one.
that was really good. And I thought it was really funny and clever and how they did everything. Lego Batman, I wasn't as impressed because I feel like I expected a lot more from the film, and it didn't give me what I was expecting.
In what sense? What were you expecting?
I don't know. Like I thought it'd be funnier. It had funny points. Don't get me wrong, but I thought it'd be funnier than that. The storyline itself was a bit rubbish, if I'm honest. Like I liked the idea. I thought it was funny as well that Joker wanted to be Batman's #1 enemy, and Batman didn't care for it.
Yeah.
But the fact that the way they went about doing the rest of it was a bit not so good. So spoilers for you too. So if you don't want to hear it,
That's
don't
alright.
listen.
I think they're just jumping on the bandwagon, aren't they?
Well,
Lego
yeah.
For like superhero movies.
But like to have all your villains go away and then to have this whole other dimension of villains was just like, okay, it's funny because like you see all these cameo appearances of other things which I liked, but I feel like
The place
story-
where they were held is an actual place, though, isn't it? In the comics, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's Superman's. It's the place that Superman's villains go sometimes.
Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah, well, no, that's where they had a party, but it's
I thought that was really funny
Yeah.
actually when they had the party and literally everyone was invited, and like pretty much every DC character was there, and Batman wasn't invited. I thought that was so good.
the thing is, like, I see when you look back at it, some of the points in the movie, I find it funnier now looking back at it. But when I was sitting there watching it, I was like, oh, okay.
But if you watched it a second time, would you find it funny, or like now you've sort of thought about them?
Probably, I'd probably see more things that would make me
Yeah,
make
I
me
think
laugh a bit more as well.
I think a lot of the comedy in it wasn't kind of verbal jokes. It was kind of like piss takes, homages to,
Oh, yeah.
and like visual. Because Lego's very visual, isn't it? A lot of comedy is visual, and if you might miss it the first time. There's loads of jokes. It's very meta, and what I mean by that is it is about the other Batman films. It refers back to them. They say like, oh, I did this in 2016, I did 2012 and 20. Go all the way back to the 1960s.
1989, 1966, and 1954.
And it's very if you get those references, it's very funny, and there's like a separate payoff for the people that like
Who's
Easter egg.
the film for? Is it for kids or for
I think it's for
people
kids.
who would understand?
It's a bit
it?
of
Well, you
both.
say that like The Simpsons, you'd think it's a kids show, but it's actually for adults because
True.
The kids can watch it and just see the pretty colours and stuff, whereas the adults will get the jokes about
True.
Christian Bale and the camp 1960s one, and the kind of innuendos where so the Joker says, "I'm your #1 villain," and then Batman's like, "No, you're not," and he's like, "Well, who is then?" He's like, "Well, I fought Bane, I fought Superman, and he goes, "Well, I'm #1." He's like, "I like to fight around," and it's very kind of like a relationship in that sense. And he's like, "I just want you to be my #1." It's very tongue in cheek in that sense, and I thought it was quite funny. I kind of did. I think I agree with you, Chris. It wasn't as funny as I thought it would be. There were kind of lulls in the plot and in the, I guess it's tough to have such a fast-paced comedy. But I think films like 21 Jump Street and Anchorman, they do that really well. And also kind of felt the cameos from other franchises. So you have Voldemort, you have the Eye of Sauron, you have Gremlins and Godzilla. And whilst it's kind of like funny that they're there, I was sort of thinking I kind of just want this to be a DC film. Like there's a lot of DC villains that they didn't really flesh out at all. You had like, you know, they could have done Two-Face and a bit more and things like that, you know. I don't see why they needed Voldemort in there. Just, you know, you can have that in the Lego games or something, but as a Lego Batman film, you kind of want it to be mostly about DC. What do we think about the Lego franchise then? Is it going to wear itself out?
I don't care for it personally. It's not really my thing.
No?
I was really reluctant to go and see the first one, and I did, and I thought it was pretty hilarious. So, but now I'm really reluctant to go see this one. I don't know why.
It is funny, but I don't know. I kind of feel like it was better than Batman vs Superman.
Yeah, probably.
It's probably going to be one of the better DC extended universe films, even though it's not technically within that canon. But yeah.
I think as Lego goes, it's like a never-ending possibility of what you can do, really, isn't it? So you can always make a Lego film based off something else and always refer back, it's like the Batman one did, refer back to the other films and make laugh and joke about it. Whether they will exhaust that to the point at which people are like, right, it's enough, I don't think they will, because in a sense, you can forever bring out these films and kids will love watching these films.
Yeah.
For an adult point of view, maybe it'll be exhausted, maybe they won't get as much funding from people watching it, but
I wonder how many times they can make the joke that, you know, they can take their hat off and someone else's leg can attach themselves to their head, you know. Like, it was funny in Lego Movie when they, you know, can swap their faces or whatever, and it's funny in Lego Batman when they all sort of stack on top of one another, but, you know, there's only so many times it's going to be like, ha ha ha, they're very, you know, adaptable. Yeah, it's very stacky. So, I don't know. I'd quite like to see a Lego Walking Dead or a Lego Game of Thrones or something like that, you know. That would be...
maybe one
Make
soon.
that work.
As soon as Lego bring out the franchises, they can.
They must spend a lot of money licensing these
Obviously,
characters.
Yeah, I don't see that coming, but if only.
Hey, you never know.
Lego Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Lego White Walkers.
I can play that on the PlayStation as well.
Okay, so I think we would probably... Would we recommend Lego Batman?
Yeah.
I think we would.
I'd say go and see it.
I wouldn't.
No? Would it put you seeing another Lego film?
I don't think it was a bad film, but it's definitely not a film I'd watch more than once. You know, I wouldn't say to someone, yeah, go and spend £10 on a ticket to go and see that. So,
Okay.
not for me.
Now we've lost this only viewer. Connor's not going to listen anymore.
Sorry, Connor.
I bet he only said that because he loved the film.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was a listener topic sent in to us via Twitter. So you can tweet us at YAC Podcast 17, or you can listen to us on SoundCloud at Your Average Critics, or you can post on our Facebook page at Your Average Critics as well. Please do get involved in our conversation, suggest topics to us, we'll talk about them. You know, any feedback, any sort of comments were real appreciated, and we'll definitely read them out, as many as we can.
I just thought something, I should have said it earlier when we were talking about film news, but someone did an interview with Hugh Jackman and he said that he would think about coming back as Wolverine if they put him into the Avengers films.
Yeah.
So would you guys want to see that? Would you guys want to see X-Men in the Avengers world?
Yes.
I wouldn't even need the X-Men, I'd just Wolverine.
Just Wolverine.
Yeah, would be great.
I mean, they kind of, in Age of Ultron, they had Quicksilver,
Yeah.
who is an X-Man, but because of the licensing thing, they had to have a different actor.
He's an X-Man.
What's the singular of X-Men? It's X-Man, right? I don't know.
So.
But I would definitely like to see that. But then there's a case where is there just going to be too many people?
They're already indestructible. You don't need someone
True.
who is literally indestructible as well.
Well, I would think that
They get Deadpool in there as well. Chuck them all in. Put them all in
for
a
me
big
it would
pot.
matter how they integrate him into the world, because if it turns out that, you know, Wolverine and mutants as a whole have been in the same Earth as the Avengers the whole time, then you'd have to wonder why.
Which they have been.
Well, yeah, in the films though, you'd have to, because, you know, in X-Men a big part of the whole I don't know, crux of the story is that a lot of people treat mutants as if they're like, you know,
Yeah.
like kind of like they're kind of like racist to them, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So you'd have to think, why wouldn't that be the case in a world like Iron Man's on, but Iron Man is.
So
Captain
he
Amer-
should be seen as like
exactly.
he's
Where
like
Captain
super
America is a
strength.
physically enhanced human
Yeah.
being, or
But isn't he
or
an
Hulk-
American
or,
hero
or
though?
the Hulk, or no, but it's the same. It's the same. Like
It's the same and it's not the same, because with Captain America and the Hulk and Iron Man, they are in the spotlight all the time, saving people.
okay.
Yeah, but then
Right.
they'd give a good name to mutants. If you see like
It's
the
like-
Hulk, they'd
yeah,
be like,
exactly-
yeah, I like
exactly.
mutants
Well,
now.
no,
but then
because-
I'd be scared, I'm shitless if the
Well,
I
no,
saw
because
some
with
guy just
with,
transform into a green.
with mutants, you got the X-Men, which are obviously the good ones.
Yeah.
But you also got Magneto and all basically his side, which basically just fuck up everything.
Yeah.
So, and they're in the spotlight, and the X-Men are not. So the bad mutants are constantly in the public eye, being like bad, and killing stuff, and then X-Men come in and covertly do whatever they do.
So do you want to see Magneto versus Iron Man?
Well, I kind of feel
Pull them
like
apart.
that would be sick. Yeah, he would literally crush him. Like, but I kind of feel after Thanos in the Infinity War films, who the hell is going to be the bad guy?
Galactus.
I don't see where that franchise is going after that culmination.
They'll reboot it.
But
after
I
Thanos.
don't know if I'm going to want to watch a
Nah.
rebooted Iron Man.
I don't reboot it.
I
They'll
think
continue.
not
It'll be a continued storyline, and there'll be a bigger or a different villain. There'll always be
Yeah.
a villain.
Yeah.
Until
is there anything in the comics though?
Yeah, there's always
There's a lady
there's-
Iron Man, isn't there?
Huh?
Isn't there a lady Iron Man?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Iron
that's
Woman.
that's recent, but.
yeah, that's
But
it.
there is a bigger villain. I'm sure there is a bigger villain
Well,
than Thanos.
Galactus is bigger.
But he was in. Well, yeah, you could have him.
He was
You
in
could have-
Fantastic Four.
You could have him. Yeah, you could have him. But whether they got the rights to him, that's another thing.
yeah,
I
you
imagine
could-
they would have.
Well, no, because Fox have got the rights to
Fox.
X-Men, to
X-Men and
Fantastic Four,
Yeah, but
and Galactus was in it. So unless they might have acquired the rights to him.
yeah, but that Galactus is not how he's depicted in the
Yeah, he
comics
is.
though.
Yeah,
be fair,
he-
they can
he-
figure out-
Silver Surfer works.
No, but I mean his Galactus's image is not like it was in Fantastic Four.
In Fantastic Four, wasn't it just a massive?
It was
smoke?
just a massive bit of smoke.
Yeah,
whereas
well,
Galactus is
I
not that.
personally, I don't know. It might have just been like a foreshadowing thing or
Yeah.
just destruction. I don't know, but yeah, I'm sure there is a bigger villain. I'm sure there's other villains as well. Like they don't have to necessarily be worlds away
Yeah.
to do
Maybe-
what they got to do.
Maybe it would be like Civil War and they all just turn on each other.
Yeah.
that'd be sick.
Yeah.
Well, actually, from what I've seen that they're going on with the whole storyline of this particular Avengers and Marvel universe is where the Hulk has been, because in the comics he gets sent to
World of Hulks. Or
Planet
Planet
Hulk,
Hulk. Yeah.
basically, and he has a son, and I would like to see his son come into it.
They're not doing that though, are they? They're not doing Planet Hulk. They said.
I think they're incorporating elements of that into Thor Ragnarok. aren't
Yeah.
They are.
I would, going back to the question, I'd really like to see the X-Men in the Marvel universe, but I feel that they would have to reboot it for licensing
Yeah.
reasons and for continuity,
Mm.
even
I
though...
think for continuity reasons, I think they would have to.
But I think
Yeah,
they
have
kind
to
of,
redo it as
if they
well.
wanted to do that, they missed a trick with Civil War, because Civil War was about the superheroes being regulated, wasn't it? And
Yeah.
kind of like coming out and saying, I'm a superhero.
Yeah.
And that, like you were saying, Obi, is the X-Men is kind of like they want to regulate them
Yeah.
with this decree. So
Yeah.
they could have done that, you
Yeah.
know.
They could have brought in Magneto and gotten him to try and turn Captain America's head and to saying, "Oh yeah, we don't need to be regulated. You know, we're
Regulators.
yeah." And then we can. But then, obviously, if Captain America didn't know that Magneto's actually evil, and then that would have been a nice little subplot.
Yeah.
And you could have got.
To be fair, you've got, and I'm not up to date with it, so I can't make too much comment on it. But Agents of Shield is tied into the whole of this Marvel world.
Yeah.
Well, not the whole of this Marvel world, the whole of the Disney Marvel that we see Iron Man
Yeah.
and thinking. So there could be some subplot in there that is subplot the right word?
Subplot, yeah.
There could be some subplot in there that determines whether these superpowered people are inferior or not, or the people are scared of, and also they've got the Inhumans, which is a film coming out at some point, and
I thought it was a TV series.
when Inhumans,
Yeah.
no, it's meant to, might be turning into a TV
I
series,
thought
but
they were
it was
bringing
originally a film, and then they moved it on, and then they decided not to do it, and then apparently they decided to do it again. So it might be in the form of a TV series, but they are incorporated into the Agents of Shield world. So that could be their form of mutants that they're doing
Okay.
Yeah.
instead.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I thought that with Inhumans they were. I might have read this the other day, but I thought they were bringing out the first 2 episodes of it in IMAX, and then the rest of it was going to carry on TV in like September or something.
Oh yeah, I did hear that actually. Yeah.
And
Okay.
just a little side note: Ramsay Bolton from Game of Thrones is going to be in Inhumans.
Okay.
Can't remember who's going to play because I don't know any of the Inhumans. So.
Well, you mean the guy from Misfits?
Yeah, Simon
Yeah.
from Misfits. Yeah.
Bring the Misfits into it. Come on, Misfits,
Imagine Nathan
hilarious.
Nathan in it.
I'm not even going to try and pronounce that actor's name. That I'm not good at pronouncing.
It's like you.
It's I think it's a Welsh name.
Yeah,
so
I think so as well.
My pronunciation's terrible. Well, no, we've talked about doing like an entire superhero Marvel podcast episode, so we should definitely schedule that in.
Definitely.
So again, like, sorry to keep plugging this, but if you listeners want us to discuss anything about Marvel, what your thoughts are, then do let us know, because we definitely schedule that podcast in. Ollie, you've got about a couple of weeks to watch about 18 films, about 400 episodes, and then you'll be
Read
right
all
up
the
to
books.
scratch. Right up to scratch. 60 years worth of comics. And then I definitely want us to talk more in depth about where the future of the MCU is going to go, because I don't know if it's going to continue its trajectory.
The bubble's got to burst eventually.
Oh yeah.
There is so much. You just don't know. I don't want to get into it now because it would take another like 3 hours. But there is so much to
Alright.
happen, and that can happen that they can do.
Well,
But they can integrate the X-Men
well,
and Spider-Man as well.
they already have integrated Spider-Man.
True.
This is true. His villains, I mean.
Well, on that note, I think that's a good point to tease for a future episode, and we'll conclude episode 4 of our podcast. So, like I said several times, and I apologise for banging on about it, please do follow us on Twitter at YAC Podcast 17, like us on Facebook, Your Average Critics, and listen to us on SoundCloud, also Your Average Critics. We're trying to get onto iTunes, so we'll keep you up to date about that. And please do let us know your thoughts. This is an improving process. So we
Constructive criticism is welcome.
yeah,
Indeed.
we're all new to this. So if you've got any thoughts about topics or things that we can improve on, please do let us know. So it's a thank you from me.
In a bit.
Laters.